In July 2020 we headed up towards Jalan Ayer Hagat River, which is on the east coast, halfway up towards the north of Langkawi. On the way we stopped and sailing vessel Zarzan collected some rainwater from a spring running off the rocks. And you can just see the spring splashing in the water on the right hand corner. And Mary, sailing vessel Mary, stood by, and I'm not sure whether they exchanged water or not, but you can see the current was strong, so the engines were on all the time. You can see that sailing vessel Cezanne's got his Brazilian flag up as well as the Malaysian flag. We were heading for that red dot, TANJUNG DENDANG passage, to spend the night, and overnight we noticed a lot of fishermen boat traffic and the current was fairly strong. So the next morning we headed for the mouth of the river, Jalan Ayer Hagat River. Sounds like a Scottish intestinal food, haggis. And you'll see the mangroves and the very low depth over near the mangroves, so we had to go wide. I'd only just got a new depth sounder and I wasn't sure of the setting, so following the other boats was a good idea. And if you have a look at that, the little blue dot is the actual river, and here's a diagram of approximately what my depths is like. So 10 feet, 3.5 metres maximum. Well, we're nearly 5 kilometres up the river, and we're coming into the main fishing port of this area. Looks like most of the boats are out. You'll see that the catamaran that's in front of us is further in front of us because we've had to slow down. Both engines were smoking a little bit. Seems this freshwater river is much warmer than the sea, and that causes the engines to get a little bit hotter. Better be safe than sorry. If you've ever done any sailing of a night time in Asia, these fishing boats, a lot of the squid boats, light up the horizon with green lights, and then they change the colour of the lights to attract the fish and squid and haul them in. So they go out of the night time, so that's why they're sitting idle during the day. So we're passing the last of these boats, which just around the corner here is the little township, and you can see the other yachts have already turned into a little alcove and proceeded to anchor. And here I am figuring out what they're up to and where they're gone. And Zazan is waiting for me to come in. So we anchored near the local shops and the others went and bought some foods. This time Alan on Marie anchored and I pulled alongside, and the fenders protected each boat, and Majid in Zazan brought a line over and tied a line from the back of his boat to the back of our boat, so he wouldn't swivel out into the river. So you can see the line there swinging from the sterns of each boat. We didn't particularly like that, well I didn't, and I'm glad that they decided to move further down the river and spend the night in a delta, the joining of three estuaries.
Just up where the other catamaran is 5 metres, so I'll have to start to pay attention. The lead boat has been up here before, Zazen, and he knows the river, so we'll see how we go.
We stopped the engine on the dinghies to just listen and watch some bird life in the trees above us. The sunlight stopped us from getting a good look at that.
Was he left-handed or right-handed?
He's left.
On the way back it looked like none of the boats had moved. That doesn't mean to say that they weren't out fishing during the night. But at least this time the current was in my direction, in my favour, and the tide was higher, so I didn't have to worry about the depths and the low spots of the river. So then we turned north into TANJUNG DENDANG passage, and the race was on. Can't see the other two boats there in the rear of me on the starboard quarter, but they were quickly overtaking my boat. My boat's a lot slower than both their boats. So the current was with us, although it looks like it's going the other way, and there was no wind, so the engines were on all three vessels. They were doing about 4 or 5 knots, and I was doing about 3.5. I actually had to slow down further up into the passage because the current changed. So the idea was to spend the morning and afternoon sailing up north and around west, and then down into TANJUNG inlet, and spends a few days there. And if you have a look at this, you'll see the course that was pre-arranged, and the video was produced by myself. And it's the end of another exciting video of the Jalan Ayer Hagat River, July 2020.